Hey everyone, it's the Angry Honey Badger here. It's time for us to take a look at a build video today. We're going to be playing as Warwick in the jungle because I actually did make a video for him back in the day. It was top lane and it was AP because he's one of those champions you can play a few different ways. So I decided to do the weird way because it's fun and it's amusing to me. But now it's time to bring you the generic kind of standard tanky wick build in the jungle. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go ahead and start at red buff so we can take our blue buff second, and then we can take our wolf man to the top lane to typically gank it if we could, but Vayne's diving right now and actually picking up first blood, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But she is being chased by the enemy jungler, and I'm going to show up here to try to help her out a little bit, and, you know, we're going to get into a little fight. She is unfortunately going to die, but I will kill Gragas and pick up his buffs, which is kind of cool, and a kill, and she gets another assist. So all in all, we'll take that exchange. That's okay with me. I'm okay with it. So we're going to go ahead and keep jungling. Now, at level 1, what we did is we took a Hunter's Machete and a few health pots. I'm going to be honest, though, haven't used a health pot yet. And that's one of the nice things about Warwick. He doesn't ever die in the jungle. If you don't play jungle often, or you're looking for a way to jump into the jungle, it's probably the easiest champion to do it with. He just doesn't die. So let's see what it is that makes him not die. We're going to go ahead now and talk about abilities. We'll cover those so we know what we're talking about as this game continues. So first off, his passive is his, I think it's Eternal Thirst is its name. Basically what happens though is when you attack, what is happening is you're dealing additional magic damage and you're going to heal yourself. And that can stack, I think, for a little bit. If it's consecutive, maybe it doesn't. I think, yeah, it stacks up to 3 times. Yes. And so basically, every time you standard attack, you're hitting for a little bit more damage, and you're healing. So every time you attack, you heal. Kind of nice. It scales throughout the game. That is your passive. Now, at level 1, we put a point into our W ability at the first buff. That is your Hunter's Call. When you activate this, what happens is you gain attack speed for 10 seconds. It's awesome, and it's good to have. I like to usually max this out. Depends, either second or third. Then at level 2, we put a point into your Q ability, which is your Hungering Strike. What that does is you're going to hit an enemy for a lot of damage, actually, and plus a percentage of their maximum health. It scales from AP, and that's why the other build that I did for him was an AP build, because you can just do a lot of damage with it. It naturally does do good damage, though, because it does scale off of some percentage of health, so that's always nice. But we're going to max out our Q first. We took a point into it at level 2. At level 3, you can put a point into your E. I actually do like doing this. Some people like to put another point into your Q. You can do that as well if you want more damage. But the nice thing about your E ability, which is your Blood Scent, is you can toggle this on or off. I typically just usually leave it on. What happens is you sense an enemy is low. You'll see it sense right there before I kill Gragas, but you sense an enemy, and what happens is if they're below 50% health within a certain range of you is you'll sense them and you gain movement speed. So it's really easy for chasing people. As you put more points into this, you gain more and more movement speed. We're going to pick up a couple kills there after our mid was killed. Gragas dove him. That's why I ran back that way and decided to kill him because he deserved to die. That's how I justify killing things. And then we luckily were able to catch up the Malzahar, and we used our ultimate on him to lock him down in place. What our ultimate is our infinite duress. And what we're going to do with that is you lunge towards the enemy. You are going to suppress the target for 1.8 seconds. And you're going to deal a handful of damage. And also, on top of that, when you are attacking them, each strike triggers on-hit effects. And so you get the benefits from that. So if you have some lifesteal, you're going to get the benefits from that. So kind of nice. On-hit effects happen while you are attacking. So good news there for the ultimate, and that's what it does. One nice thing about him and his ultimate, it is on a fairly short cooldown, and it's a very easy initiation for locking down a target that's important. And that's one reason why I decided to play him this game, is because we were going up against a Malzahar who enjoys locking down and suppressing targets himself. So if I can suppress him before he suppresses me, we can probably kill him. And he's probably not going to suppress me, because that's kind of a waste on the tank to suppress me to death, because he's going to want to do that to Kale or to our Corki. So kind of counterpicked the mid just a tiny bit. It's helpful, but I mean, realistically, a suppress is good in any time, as long as it's used. So here, I want to get an eye on this dragon. They are going to take this. I don't have my bottom lane getting here quite fast enough. We're not going to be able to pick this dragon up. Mid's coming down here too, but so is theirs. So we got a 4v4 kind of, but we're split. Gonna go ahead and suppress the Malzahar right as he uses his ultimate, so that is not up. Gonna pick up a kill on him, and unfortunately Kale will fall. Just gonna take a big Q swipe out at Annie and run away. If you get low, just don't forget while you're running away, if they're right behind you, take a huge Q swipe out of them because it does heal you. I don't know if I did mention that. Your Hungering Strike heals you quite a lot. So that's why it's also really good, because massive heals with damage, it's really hard to fight against Warwick. He has so much natural heal and sustain. It's just hard to break him down, and we're going to see that as this game goes on. Our actual first original trips back, what we did is we built the Spear of the Ancient Golem. We did that first. Very nice item. The Tenacity, very, very helpful. And another side note about the item, as much as it's not a huge stat, you do get some life or some health regen and mana regen. The mana regen is kind of nice to have with him because he does go through his mana fairly quick. It's nice, obviously, if you can have a blue buff, but I'm going to try to give some of those to, obviously, my mid. But he goes through mana quick. You can easily go through your mana. So it does provide a little bit of mana regeneration, and it's very nice because of that. So it's a good item. And then we also, since we don't need tenacity within our boots, we are able to pick up the Ninja Tabi boots. Will give us a little bit of that armor, and we're going to deny standard attack damage a little bit. Here we're having Kale actually bait this Annie down as she's getting attacked. Going to just jump in here, use the ultimate, lock her down, and Kale will pick up the kill. Fairly easy. Once you lock someone down with Warwick, it's just really easy to get that kill. I mean, as long as your team focuses that person, they will pretty much die every time. And, well, as long as the enemy team doesn't have a Kale to protect that person, at least. So that's why we also have Kale. Very helpful while I'm jumping in, and probably going to get focused because I am going to suppress that person. I can get the Kale ult, which will help me out. So, back to those items. Those were the first two we built. Very helpful items. Kind of standard for just jungling things. The nice thing also, too, about that Spirit is, Spirit of the Ancient Golem, is we're going to get that bonus gold now from the jungling this season. So, we're getting bonus gold whenever we're jumping back in and killing those neutral jungle monsters. That last time we were back, though, when we did buy, what we did was we picked up the beginning part of our Spirit Visage. And what that's going to help us with is a lot of things. It's going to give us some magic resist, which right now we really don't have a ton of. We have a little bit with our, I think our runes. I think we have some there. But we have some armor right now, so we're okay on armor. We have those boots, and we have some armor in our runes. But we could use some more magic resist. It's always a good thing, especially against this enemy team. So we're going to go ahead and pick up that Spirit Visage right now. What that's going to do is give us that magic resist, give us some more health, some cooldown reduction, always a good thing. And then it's also going to allow us to heal better when we have this item. Everything we do just gets a greater ability to heal us. So our standard attacks, which with our passive is going to give us increased healing. Those Qs are going to heal us even more when you use those. Basically, we just heal even better from all of our awesome healing already. Here we're going to go ahead and jump on to Annie and take a massive Q swipe out of her and just finish her off quick. You can do a lot of damage with him, even if you're not really building tons of damage. And we're not going to build a lot of damage this game, but we're going to pick up a little bit in a few areas because you never want to be like super overly tanky. I mean, it is helpful as long as your team does have the damage, but you need to always have a little bit with you. So I get 2 items that kind of help out with that, and you could actually get a third if you wanted to. That'll be the situational item when we get to it towards the end of the build. So, but we're going to go ahead and keep working on Warwick, see what we can do here. We have Kale up here, kind of getting chased. She used her ult, luckily, as she was getting suppressed. I'm going to go ahead and try to get to Malzahar. I'm going to lock him down, do a lot of damage to him, get barreled. Not going to have Kale be able to support me here. I'm going to take too much tower damage, and I am going to die. Unfortunately, I barely get hit by that silence, and that's going to not allow me to use the Q, and I'm going to die, which is unfortunate. Got shut down. Word vomit all over there. But you can chase quite easily. It's not tough, and you saw how many tower shots I did take. He's naturally tanky, so you are allowed to do that if you can. We're going to go ahead, though, and keep working on that build. We picked up a Giant's Belt that last time while we were in base. Giant's Belt's going to be going towards an item. We're just building a lot of health, always helpful. We're going to be Tank Wick, as some people would call it. It works out really well, and, I mean, we have the kills without, like I was saying, lots of damage. That Q with the percentage damage, always helpful. You're always going to deal a little bit of damage regardless, so that's just one nice part about having his kit. Now, as for those runes, I did talk and mention that we do have a little bit of armor already in those runes, and the armor is going to be with those seals. For those glyphs, we're going to do the magic resist ones there. That's where we're getting a little bit of magic resist. We're going to get the ones that scale through the game, though. As for the marks, though, what we're going to do with those is I'm actually going to take hybrid pen marks on Warwick. It works really well because everything's AP based in his kit, but we actually want to build our standard attacks to deal more damage with some attack damage later on, and plus just standard attacking with, you know, attack damage in the jungle. Really nice. So a little penetration there is good. So hybrid penetration marks are very nice. And then as for those quintessences, what we want to do with those is go with the movement speed ones for increased ganking and chasing. Here, trying to bait Annie to come a little quicker. I know the rest of her team's around, but I'm going to go ahead and lock her down, jump on her. I am going to be able to tank this because I am going to get the ult from Kale as well. Very helpful. And we're going to go ahead and murder Annie, get rid of her. Kale's fighting Grog, so I'm going to chase Malzahar a little bit. I do have the red buff, so I am slowing him, getting a little bit of true damage off on him. But we do have the enemy ADC just coming over, so I'm going to group back up with Kale, but kind of a 2v3 and then a 2v4, I mean, once he showed up. So, but, I mean, you can jump in and deal a lot of damage if you just lock down a target that's important. I mean, obviously, Annie isn't the most important, but supports do more damage now this season, so, and she's got a good stun, so if I can negate that, get rid of her, always a good thing. Now, we just got in that fight not long ago. We're going to go ahead and pick up Dragon, but my ultimate's already back up. Going to go ahead and jump all over Malzahar. He tries to suppress Corki, but I'm just going to take one more Hungering Strike out of him to kill him. And here's another one of those just chases. We got a little bit more of that increased movement speed now because we have our Blood Scent on him. And we're going to be able to chase. He is doing what he can to get the gap between. He's now going to use his barrier too. Going to fight him under this tower, and I would win this if he didn't not only flash away and dash away, but I mean, I'm just basically tanking tower and being able to heal through some of that too. So you can do a lot with his tanky kit, and it's very, very nice. I really do enjoy him. It's not too difficult to kind of, once you get a little bit ahead, it's hard to kill him. Now, one of the things we're doing with damage now at this point is this last trip back, what we did is we picked up a little bit more armor, and we built that with that Giant's Belt, and we built a Sunfire Cape. Sunfire Cape's kind of nice. We get a little bit of area of effect damage. Always a good thing. Not a lot, but we get a little bit. Always helps. So we have that now, so we're pretty beefy with that item. And then we also did pick up a Vampiric Scepter, because at this point in the game, we do have good magic resist, we also have good armor. Here we're getting into a fight with him. He kind of baited out. Here comes Groggets and Annie. They're all showing up. They all want to kill me real bad. I see my team showing back up, so I'm actually going to jump on him and lock him down with the suppress. Corki's going to show up too and pick up the kill on him and then turn around and kill Annie while I'm just, you know, taking those Hungering Strikes out of Groggets, getting some of my health back. Nidalee threw me a heal too, and Corki will be able to pick up a triple kill. Very helpful though. Decided not to keep running, saw my team was showing up. Confident that if I locked one of them down, they'd turn and help fight, and that's exactly what we're able to do. So, just really, really naturally tanky, lots of natural healing with Warwick. You can fight in these fights for really long periods of time, even when it looks like you're going to be too low and you're just going to die. So, always remember, you're a little tankier than you always think. And you can always surprise them too with that by taking those Hungering Strikes out of them too. That heal is just really nice. There we did finally get shut down. You know, lots of ults that got suppressed. Everybody was there. It's going to happen. So, we're back at base, though, now. What we're going to be doing, though, with that Vampiric Scepter is what I like to do with it nowadays. There's a couple different directions you could take it. More attack speed on him always feels great because you're healing even more. I mean, we're going to be healing more when we're building attack speed with the lifesteal, so we're healing from that, but, I mean, you're going to be healing more just because of the passive, and the Spirit Visage, it just all teams together really nicely. So what we're going to do is we're going to build that into a Cutlass at this point, and we're going to build it eventually into a Blade of the Ruined King. So we're dealing even more damage, and we'll be able to activate that item too, which is helpful, and just even more attack speed, awesome heals. So if we do not have our W up for all of that Fun Hunter's Call, like increased attack speed, we are just getting some bonus attack speed from the Blade of the Ruined King. Very helpful item, very good to have. It's my one main damage item I will actually pick up. Another item you could get if you're not worried about the attack speed, you don't really want that, but you want something for massive, like, pushing power and wave clearing, and it does work with the ultimate really well. You could do a Hydra. It's another option. You could do that. You could take a Vampiric Scepter and build it into that item. I would also say it's probably not as amazing, but it's another good choice. You could totally do it. I'm okay with the ideas of it. I've done it a couple times. It's not terrible. But Blade of the Ruined King is really nice. Percentage damage, never a terrible thing. And the ability to slow them when they're running away with its active is always a good thing too. And there's lots of choice really with Warwick. I mean, there's a million ways you can actually build, and this is just the way I think is kind of fun, and tanky's really good, especially since our team doesn't really have a tank right now. It's not really, I mean, I am the tank, and luckily I am killing too. But at this point, we have what I'd call my 5 main items, and as for the last one that I'm currently working on, I have some more magic resist because they have a handful of magic damage. They have the Groggus, they have the Malzahar, they also have the Annie. As much as she supports and building more damage. Gonna go ahead and jump on to the Lucian here. Just gonna pretty much be able to solo him. Not gonna have to worry about it. Just gonna take a massive swipe out of him right there. Finish him off. Groggus is gonna get smart, run off. Because, I mean, his damage, I can heal straight through that with those standard attacks, with the lifesteal, and with the Hungering Strikes. Just going to go ahead and finish off the inhib. And Annie's going to do a little bit, but not really anything significant to me because Warwick doesn't care, does what he wants. But that's what we're going to do with the build. We're going to go ahead and try to pick up that next Guardian Angel for our item. Obviously, you could pick up more damage if you wanted more damage. You could probably justify just about any item at this point. You really only need those 5 to really kill people really well. If you needed more armor, randoms would be a great item. Going to jump on Annie here. Kale does show up, but I don't even take the Q out, but she's just going to die between us two real fast, and we'll be able to push this game to victory in just a second. Got a little lopsided. They actually kept the gold really, really close the whole game. If you kept an eye on that top counter at the, up there, we had like a 9-kill advantage at one point, and they still had more gold than us. So, game's a little bit closer, and one reason I think they had more gold than us was our support Nidalee, which wasn't really support. She didn't build really any support items. I don't see wards or anything. She didn't have any gold per 5 items or anything to collect or take or steal gold in her kit, and Annie did, and Annie had way more gold because of it. So we were behind in overall gold just because Nidalee didn't really play her role as effectively as she could have. Because if you're going to build full AP down there, that's fine, but get something that does allow you to hustle some gold, because if you're not last-hitting minions, which you're not as the quote-unquote support, you're just wasting your time standing there doing nothing. Gonna go ahead and initiate on the enemy team because why not? That's fun to do. Let's pick up more assists and kills, and we're gonna be able to finish this game out. As for the Masteries page that I would use when I am playing as Warwick, there's a couple different ones you could do. You could do the tank jungle page that I've said, or the AD jungle page. Wouldn't really take the AP one. We're not going to be building any other AP stuff. If you haven't seen those pages, I'll leave a couple links in the description, which will take you to all the Mastery pages that I've been setting up this season. Those videos are in-depth and let you know of all the pages that I'll recommend. But you can go ahead and check out that page over there. They also are posted on my Facebook page, so you can check them out there as well. But that's a build for Warwick. Any questions, put them down below, but other than that, I'll just see all of you in the next build video. We're going to move in fairly quick. Eve's coming in. She's moving in towards me. I'm going to go ahead and have the final hour activated. I'm going to tumble actually through her. I go invisible there, so I'm on the other side of her. She did flash to try to get away, and I'll be able to pick up the kill while I run off now so I don't die.